Okay, let's unpack this. In a world just saturated with AI-generated text, trust is rapidly becoming, well, our most precious and scarce resource, isn't it?
It really is. It's everywhere.
So how do we distinguish between what a human has crafted and what a machine has just spun up? And maybe more critically, how much confidence can we actually place in the tools designed to help us tell the difference?
That's the million-dollar question right now.
Yeah, and that's the core question we're diving into today. Our mission for this deep dive is to rigorously examine some of the leading AI detection tools out there, and we're putting a special focus on GPTZero.
A popular one.
Definitely. We're going to try and cut through the marketing noise, reveal the clear numbers, and give you the actionable insights you need to make truly informed decisions for yourself or maybe your organization.
And what's crucial to understand here, I think, is that this isn't just another online opinion piece. Not at all.
Right.
This review anchors its analysis in a really substantial independent benchmark. It's from a National Bureau of Economic Research working paper.
NBER. Okay, so serious research.
Exactly, serious research. The study audited 3 leading tools, Pangram, OriginalityAI, and GPTZero, across this massive 1,992 passage corpus.
Wow, nearly 2,000 passages.
Yeah, huge. And diverse, too, covering different genres, varying lengths of text, different AI models. They even pushed the boundaries, testing against short snippets and those notoriously tricky humanizer rewrites.
Ah, the humanizers, the ones designed to fool the detectors.
Precisely, the ones actively trying to game the system.
That's the kind of thoroughness we really need in this space. So by the end of this deep dive, you won't just have a general idea. You'll know precisely where GPTZero shines, where it maybe struggles a bit. And critically, when another choice might make more sense for your specific needs. We're talking practical, real-world utility here.
Absolutely, not just theory.
So let's get into it. What exactly is GPTZero? For anyone maybe unfamiliar, how would you describe its fundamental purpose?
Sure. So at its core, GPTZero is an AI writing detector. It's designed for practical use in, let's say, high-stakes environments. Think classrooms, publishing houses, various professional teams.
Okay.
It basically tells you the likelihood a passage was generated by an AI model, often by analyzing patterns in things like sentence structure, word predictability.
Yeah.
Sometimes they call it perplexity scores.
Right, the statistical...
Exactly. It can even highlight specific regions within the text that look synthetic. You see it everywhere now. Educators using it to check for AI ghostwritten homework.
A big one for schools.
Huge. Editors deploy it to protect brand trust, authenticity. Even security and compliance teams are integrating it into their intake workflows.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the stakes in your specific context, they directly influence the threshold choices you'll need to make when you rely on a tool like this. How much risk you can tolerate.
And when you're thinking about using a tool like this day to day, especially with those high stakes you mentioned, you're really concerned about, what, 3 key things?
I'd say so, yeah. Primarily 3 things dominate the practical considerations.
Like avoiding false accusations.
Definitely. First, you want incredibly low false positives, meaning you absolutely do not want to unfairly accuse a human of submitting AI work. That's a massive ethical, operational risk.
Huge.
Second, you need high recall. You don't want actual AI content slipping past your radar. That undermines the whole point of using the tool.
Right, it needs to catch what it's supposed to catch.
Exactly. And third, you want sensible behavior on, short text, snippets, maybe those messy first drafts people sometimes submit.
Yeah, the real world stuff.
Those are the practical realities. They separate the useful tools from the purely theoretical ones.
Okay, so we know what it is, but the question hanging over every single tool in this space, especially one so critical, is just, can we trust its accuracy? Let's dive into what that NBER audit found about GPTZero's performance.
Yeah, the core question. And this independent audit really zeroed in on 2 key error types that decision makers genuinely feel in their day-to-day: false positives and false negatives.
Okay, quick refresher on those.
Sure. False positives are when human passages get flagged as AI. You want these extremely low, vanishingly low, ideally. The reputational damage can be severe.
Right, accusing an innocent student or writer? Yeah. Terrible.
Exactly. False negatives, on the other hand, are the AI passages that slipped through undetected. You want these low, too, obviously, because that's the stuff you're trying to catch.
So it's a trade-off.
It's a natural tension, absolutely. Protecting humans by tightening the detection threshold often means more AI might slip through, and vice versa. It's this delicate, fundamental balance.
Okay, so how did GPTZero do specifically on this balancing act?
Well, the audit found it delivers very low false positives on standard prose. That's its standout feature.
Very low. Like how low?
In the threshold sweeps they did, its false positive rate sits near 0.007.
0.007, so less than 1%.
Correct. Less than one false accusation in every 100 pieces of human text. And critically, it stays stable there, whether you set it to be conservative or a bit looser.
That sounds like a significant safety net, especially, say, in schools.
It is. It offers psychological safety. Now, its false negative rate, the AI it misses, that ranges roughly from 0.002 to 0.030. Depends a bit on the AI model generating the text and the specific threshold you use.
Okay, so for standard, maybe longer passages, seems pretty solid within those bounds.
Generally, yes. For long and medium passages, it holds its ground well. But as we touched on, for short text and those adversarial rewrites, well, that's a different story.
Right, that's encouraging for longer pieces. But the real test for any detector comes when we put it side by side with its toughest competitors, doesn't it?
Always.
The question isn't just if it's accurate, but how accurate compared to everything else. So let's pit GPTZero against Pangram and OriginalityAI. See where the strength and the weaknesses truly lie.
Exactly. And the NBER audit didn't just, list features. It rigorously ranked performance, which is what matters when you're making a buying decision.
So what did the ranking show?
What's fascinating here is that Pangram, it essentially dominates on raw discrimination.
Dominates. How so?
It often achieved near-perfect AROC scores, like approximately 1.00.
Okay, AUROC. Remind us what that measures.
Right, AUROC. It measures how well a detector can distinguish between AI and human text across all possible thresholds. A score of 1.00 means it's almost perfectly separating the two, like a perfect lie detector for AI text.
Wow, okay. Near perfect.
Near perfect in their sample. And this translates into what the study calls policy-friendly error trade-offs. Basically, it performs exceptionally well even when you impose really strict limits on false accusations, making it highly adaptable for organizational policies.
And the others. OriginalityAI. GPTZero.
OriginalityAI also performs highly, often around 0.99 AUROC. Very strong, but it has some metrics where it lags a bit behind Pangram. GPTZero forms a, let's say, solid second tier, often just below the top two. But its consistent advantage is that very low false positive rate we keep mentioning.
Right, that 0.007 number.
Exactly, it holds on to that.
So what does this practically mean for you, the listener? If your main worry is false accusations say you're in academia, wrongly accusing a student is devastating.
A nightmare scenario.
Then GPTZero's stubbornly low false positive rate of 0.007 is incredibly attractive. That's its big strength. But if catching absolutely everything with really tight policy caps is your top priority.
Maybe in high-stakes publishing or legal discovery?
Right, where any AI slipping through is unacceptable, then Pangram's performance ceiling is clearly higher, according to this audit.
That's a good summary. And to put numbers on it, directly from the NBER audit, Pangram typically had a false positive rate, FPR, around 0.0000 to 0.001, almost zero.
Wow.
And a false negative rate, FNR, of roughly 0.004 to 0.038. OriginalityAI was around 0.0001 to 0.0003 FPR, with an FNR that could sometimes rise under certain conditions.
And GPTZero again.
GPTZero, as we said, maintains its roughly 0.0007 FPR, but its FNR was about 0.0002 to 0.030. So you see the trade-offs clearly in those numbers. GPTZero protects humans more consistently. Pangram catches more AI overall, especially under strict rules. OriginalityAI is sort of in between, but very strong.
Okay, those numbers really paint the picture.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the scenarios that often trip people up, the ones many reviews tend to gloss over. How do these tools handle short snippets or text that's been deliberately rewritten to fool them?
Ah, the tricky bits, yes. This is where the nuances really come out, and it's critical for practical use.
Because lots of workflows involve short text.
Right.
Reviews, emails.
Exactly. Think product reviews, resumes, chat fragments, social media posts, anything under, say, 50 words, what the study calls stubs.
Yes, stubs.
Now, GPTZero, it maintained its low false positives on these short pieces, which is good, but it missed more AI, especially in certain short genres. Like news snippets, its miss rates went up there.
Okay, so still safe on accusing humans, but less effective at catching AI in short news bursts.
Correct. Pangram, however, generally kept its false negatives low even on stubs and remained conservative on false positives across most stub categories. It showed notably stronger performance on short texts overall.
Interesting. And then there's the ultimate challenge, the humanizers. These tools specifically designed to rewrite AI text, make it sound more human, actively trying to fool detection. It's a digital arms race, isn't it? A cat and mouse game.
Precisely. It's exactly that. If AI detection is this high-stakes game, humanizers are the mice bringing out new disguises constantly. They represent the escalating sophistication we're seeing.
So how do the tools fare against these disguises?
Well, Pangram remains surprisingly robust here. It had impressively low misses even when passages were rewritten by these humanizer tools.
Really? Even against text designed to fool it?
According to this audit, yes, it held up well. GPTZero, however, its miss rate rose sharply under these rewrites,
Airplay, Hasha.
often landing around 50% across various models and genres.
50%. Half. That's basically a coin flip.
Pretty much.
For an educator or a publisher relying on this, that sounds like a massive vulnerability if humanizers are being used.
It's a huge factor, a critical point. A 50% miss rate means if someone uses a common humanizer, GPTZero is effectively guessing half the time whether it's AI or not.
Wow. And OriginalityAI.
OriginalityAI also lost ground against humanizers, though maybe not quite as severely as GPTZero in some cases, but it shows this is a broader challenge for detectors.
Definitely. So the takeaway is, if your workflow is likely to face rewritten, humanized content, and let's be honest, as these tools get easier to use, many will.
It's increasingly likely.
Then you need to plan for these significantly higher miss rates with some tools. It really means adjusting your expectations and maybe your choice of tool.
Absolutely. You have to factor that specific threat into your decision.
Okay, so beyond the raw accuracy numbers, decision makers like you listening need to know how to actually integrate these tools into policy, into budget. It's not just how good they are in a lab, but how they fit in the real world.
Right. And one of the most valuable insights for administrators from this study is this really useful idea. First, you fix an acceptable false positive ceiling.
Set your limit first.
Exactly. For many schools, publishers, maybe 1% is a hard, non-negotiable ceiling. You decide your tolerance for false accusations up front.
Okay.
Then, and only then, do you compare the tools based on their resulting false negatives, the AI they miss at that specific cap you set.
Ah, so you compare them on your terms, not the vendor's defaults.
Precisely.
Right.
This policy cap framing aligns the detector to your actual risk tolerance, not just some arbitrary setting. For example, the study showed reasonable caps like 0.5% to 1% FPR. They barely moved Pangram's miss rate. It stayed effective.
Okay.
While OriginalityAI and GPTZero, their performance degraded somewhat as the cap tightened before recovering a bit if you relax the cap. It suggests Pangram is more resilient to those strict policy limits. It offers more consistent performance under that kind of pressure.
That's a really practical way to compare them. And of course, price always matters. What do GPT-Zero's plans look like for those considering it? Budgets aren't infinite.
No, they are not. GPTZero offers 3 main plans, typically billed annually. There's an essential plan at $8.33 a month, gets you 150,000 words.
Okay.
Premium is $12.99 a month for 300,000 words. And professional is $24.99 a month for 500,000 words. They also have options for overages and team features.
Standard SaaS pricing tiers. But how does that compare in terms of value, like cost per detection?
Yeah, the study did a clever thing. It translated vendor fees into a metric called cost per true positive.
Cost per true positive. So what you actually spend for each piece of AI you correctly catch.
Exactly that. How much bang for your buck are you getting in terms of actual detections respecting your policy cap? On that measure, Pangram came out as the cheapest on average, while GPTZero was the priciest among the 3 audited. So if you're buying at scale and you have those strict policy caps, this cost per true positive metric is absolutely crucial for your budget planning. It tells you where your money is working hardest.
That's a key metric. Now, a specific question we see a lot, especially from educators.
Yeah.
How does GPT-Zero compare to Turnitin? Given Turnitin is almost ubiquitous in academia, did the study shed light there?
Okay, the straight talk here is that the NBER benchmark evaluated Pangram, OriginalityAI, and GPTZero. It did not evaluate Turnitin.
Ah, okay. So no direct comparison from this study.
Correct. We cannot draw direct apples-to-apples claims about GPTZero versus Turnitin from this specific research. Anyone telling you otherwise based solely on this paper is misrepresenting it.
Got it. But practically speaking.
Practically, what we can say is that dedicated AI detection tools, like the 3 we're discussing, they tend to move faster in their development cycles than broader plagiarism suites. They often update their models more frequently to keep up with new AI generators.
It makes sense. It's their sole focus.
Right. They also tend to expose their detection thresholds more clearly, which helps with that policy cap approach we discussed. And they often offer API options, so technically savvy schools can custom tune the integration and the policy caps to their specific needs.
So if you're using both.
Treat them as complementary tools. Use Turnitin for its plagiarism detection strengths, and maybe use a dedicated tool like GPTZero, Pangram, or OriginalityAI specifically for AI detection. But don't just conflate their results or assume one fully replaces the other without doing your own testing on Turnitin's AI capabilities, because the study didn't cover it.
Good advice. Treat them as different tools for different jobs.
Okay.
Okay, so let's try and put it all together. What's this short version, the realistic buying advice for you, the listener, trying to navigate this?
Okay, boiling it down. If you absolutely must hold a very tight false positive ceiling, you just cannot afford to falsely accuse a human, and you anticipate dealing with those adversarial rewrites from humanizer tools, then Pangram looks like the safest bet today, based purely on this NBER audit's findings.
Okay, high safety against false positives and humanizers points to Pangram.
According to this data, yes. Now, if you prefer a familiar interface, maybe something with low friction, especially for classroom use, and you can accept that humanizers might slip through more often, then GPTZero is a sensible choice, especially given its consistently low false positive rate on standard text. That 0.007 is its anchor.
So ease of use and very low risk of false accusation points to GPT-0 if humanizers aren't your biggest fear.
That seems a fair summary of its niche, and if you're already using Originality AI, perhaps for editorial workflows where it's popular, you'll generally see high discrimination scores. It's a strong performer. But maybe plan for potentially more misses if you implement very strict policy caps or deal with a lot of very short text.
So each tool really does have its own kind of sweet spot, depending on your priorities and risks.
Exactly. It's not one size fits all. Your specific risk profile dictates the best choice.
This actually leads perfectly into a powerful recommendation from the review itself. You don't just have to take their word for it or ours. You can actually run your own mini audit in like an afternoon.
Yes, this is so important. It's about tailoring the tool to your unique risk, your specific content, not just relying on a general benchmark study, however good it is.
So how do you do that? Walk us through it.
Okay, it's pretty straightforward. First, gather samples that reflect your reality. Get maybe 100 human-written passages and 100 AI-generated passages that genuinely match your real-world use case. Mix lengths, mix genres that are relevant to you.
Your own data.
Your own data is key. Second, decide your maximum acceptable false positive rate up front before you test anything. Maybe it's 1%, maybe 0.5%. Lock that in. That's your line in the sand.
Set your policy cap first. Got it.
Third, run your samples through the tools you're considering and measure the false negatives the AI misses each tool gives you at your chosen FPR cap. This shows you directly which detector catches more AI at your acceptable level of risk for false accusations.
Okay, testing against your own cap.
Fourth, test those adversarial rewrites. Take some of your AI passages, run them through a humanizer tool, there are several out there, and then rescore them with the detectors. See how robust they are against the kind of attacks you might actually face.
Test the humanizer effect yourself.
Crucial. And finally, fifth, translate the vendor fees into that cost per true positive metric we discussed. See how much you're paying for each successful AI detection under your conditions.
Get performance to budget.
Exactly. This way, your budget matches your actual risk profile, and you pick the detector that truly serves your specific needs, not just the one with the slickest marketing. It empowers you to make a truly informed, context-specific decision.
That's incredibly practical advice. Run your own test.
And any honest deep dive into AI detection like this one has to admit the obvious. This is an arms race.
Right. It won't stand still.
Absolutely not. AI models improve constantly. Writers adapt their prompting. Humanizers evolve. The audit itself explicitly recommends routine, transparent retests because the landscape is shifting under our feet.
So this isn't a one-time decision.
Definitely not. Treat your policy caps, those FTR limits, as dials you might need to adjust over time, not just set and forget decisions. And maybe keep a quarterly audit on the calendar, just a small one with fresh samples, to ensure your chosen tool remains effective against the latest challenges.
Stay vigilant. So what does this all mean for you listening in the long run? The challenge isn't just catching AI today, is it? It's adapting to a future where the lines between human and machine-generated content will likely only blur further.
That's the bigger picture, yeah.
It forces us to ask, how will you continue to safeguard trust
authenticity, whatever it is you value in that ever-changing landscape, knowing that today's perfect solution might be tomorrow's vulnerability. It's a constant adaptation.
It requires ongoing attention for sure.
So if this deep dive helped you navigate the complex world of AI detection, even just a little, we really encourage you to use that audit framework we just discussed. Use it with your own data.
Please do. Empower yourself.
Empower your policy team. Tune those thresholds with a clear, data-driven goal in mind based on your risk tolerance. And remember, staying informed, staying proactive, and staying adaptable is your absolute best defense against the evolving challenges of AI-generated content.
Well said.
We'll be here to keep diving deep with you, wherever the next innovation takes us.